All right, so all the broad possibilities. I'm a member of the Westlake Village Rotary. I used to be vocations chair with that, and what we did with the vocations is we tried to do a lot more stuff with the Chamber of Commerce and look and trying to recruit members from that. And one of the values of vocations is to be able to promote your business. And again, like Sal was mentioning, we're not looking for business card pushers. We're not looking for people that are strictly there for business. And so when I joined Rotary, when I moved my print shop from Playa Vista to Westlake Village, one of my mentors had always said, get involved with the chamber, get involved with the schools and the churches and the synagogues and such, and then get involved with the service club. So he was a member of a Rotary Club in Santa Monica, and when I went to go visit that, it wasn't really appealing for me because I was younger. And it seemed like it was just a bunch of rich guys that were, bragging about their house and their cars and all that. And of course, we met at the Riviera, so that wasn't too shabby, but it just wasn't appealing to me. But then I just remember, getting back and yeah, I could get my business into the community a little bit more here with service. So, and now it's a complete 180. I rarely talk about my business at club meetings. Everyone sort of knows what I do, but it's not, I'm there as a Rotarian. I'm, trying to do good in the world, but it's also nice that, people at least give us the opportunity to earn their business, and then it's up to us to provide a way to use our business. So if I'm not able to service them, or if my prices are too high, then that's my fault. That's not, I'm not expecting you to use me and pay, almost double the amount. We have to have a fair price and that kind of thing. So that's the biggest thing with vocations is, and like Sal was mentioning, is give the Rotarians an opportunity, to you, or Rotarians having an opportunity to use your business. Then it's up to you to earn their business. And so if that works out, great. If it doesn't work out, then they've given you a shot, and that's all we can do. So getting into it, vocational service is one of the Rotary's avenues of service, and through vocations, we serve others by using our unique skills to address community needs, empower our others through training and skill development. So we were just talking about that with Les, and the training and the skills development up there in Slow. And then inspire, others to act with integrity by following, the four-way test. And that's one of the things that's very valuable when you become a Rotarian in the community, is you are automatically have this trust built in. So when people come and use your business or use your service, and if you're a Rotarian, people already have that sort of, hey, this guy's trying to make the community a little bit better. And it's like a warm handshake. It's this trust building that you're developing in your community. And it includes connecting with our professionals and professional networks. Again, the Chamber of Commerce, doing events with them. Sometimes we've even presented at some breakfasts for the Chamber of Commerce, where I will go and I will talk about Rotary. Because the biggest thing that we have is an issue with Rotary is people don't know what Rotary is. So if we go about and we talk about how vocations is a value to them, then they're more inclined to want to be part of Rotary. Using our expertise to, address community problems. We're having an issue here, and we're, maybe needs an engineer or something. We reach out to the Rotary clubs and saying, here, this school has this issue or this program has this issue, and how can we help them out by using the professionals that we have in our Rotary clubs? And promoting Rotary's commitment to integrity in our professional and our personal lives. And responsibilities, they join Rotary as representatives of their particular business or profession, and they have a dual responsibility to represent their vocation within their club and to exemplify the ideas of Rotary in their place of business. So they're not just doing this in the community, but they're also doing this in the place of business with their employees, with their clients and such. And then I'll let you guys read this. I'll just put this in. There's a lot of words there, but basically they're really emphasizing the four-way test on how we conduct ourselves as business leaders in our community and the Rotarian Code. So you guys can review that. I don't want to just speak word for word on this right here. And then some ideas, hosting a business networking event with non-Rotarian professionals in your community. We do a lot of stuff within our Rotary clubs, but we need to do more stuff outside our Rotary clubs, to promote Rotary. And I have a slide from, excuse me, Cambria, and what they do. So I'll be presenting that in a minute. Offering career counseling to unemployed or underemployed adults, associating yourself with a nonprofit to offer your expertise to help people get employed, or if they're underemployed, to give them some sort of direction in their career or what they should be doing to enhance themselves. Career guidance to young people. For myself, we have a couple of Interact clubs that we are advisors for. And one is a high school where I'll go and I will listen to speeches from the future business leaders of America. I work with, what is it called? Career Achievement, I believe it's called, CA, where kids become young entrepreneurs. And I help them with marketing ideas on what they're trying to do as a group together. So these are some of the things that we can be doing with the young people in our community. And just applying, again, our professional skills to a project. So, if you're a carpenter and this particular nonprofit needs some shelves built or something like that, being able to go in there and help them with that project. And some of the other things, scholarships for students. I know a lot of clubs do that. Classification talks, talking about what they're doing. Workplace visits, tours, and mixers. This would be a great thing for, instead of having a club meeting, is reaching out to different businesses in your area and saying, hey, look, you guys look like you do a lot of cool stuff. Would you mind if we brought in our club, for a work tour to show us exactly what you do? And then you start building up relationships that way. Vocational Service Awards for students, Rotarians, and community members. Having those at your, in your clubs where you're recognizing, someone just mentioned, recognizing the Officer of the Year or the Firefighter of the Year or stuff, those type of things. They go a long way in the community. High school job readiness. Again, I just mentioned what I do with the job interviews and the speeches and such. So these are some of the things that we can be doing with the high schools. And the inter-club vocational services, where we work together with the different clubs in our area to go out into the community to really show that it's not just one club, but it's our group that is trying to improve our community with awareness for vocations. And what clubs actually do is, hands-on community projects, high school activities, again, participating in the trades. I got to tell you, my son, he went to Long Beach and he graduated with a degree in film. And he got really going with his career doing commercials and national commercials and stuff. And guess what happened? AI. So AI is really taking away from his earning ability. So him and his wife now are looking at doing native landscaping, and they're building a business that way. So it's going to the high schools, and I know in our area the parents really push four-year university, going to Yale, going to Harvard. It's prestigious. You have to, it's like schoolwork, 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 but the kids aren't allowed to work. They build no work ethic out there in the community. Um, and it's not for everyone. We have great community colleges in California. I know I just did a whole renovation of my house, and I wish I would have changed careers and became got into construction, because these guys are making some bank. And especially unfortunately, with all the, the fires and such, these are jobs that are long time, long term. They might not be, people might not look at them as, hey, you're a Harvard graduate or a Yale graduate, but you're providing a living for your family, and you're providing a good living for your family, and at some of the rates that these people are making. Celebrating the four-way test, Interact career activities, Rotaract career activities, RILA career activities, going to your Interact clubs, your Rotaract clubs, your RILAs, and explaining what you do and how you got involved with your career, and how you got involved with Rotary and what it's done to promote you. And then again, joining the Chamber of Commerce. Our club is a member of the Chamber of Commerce, so I get to go to the breakfast and talk about the Rotary there in our little 20-second speech. And it's just going there repetitively, time after time, where finally someone says, hey, I've heard good things about Rotary, and I'll invite them to come to a lunch, and get them involved with Rotary. And then also part of vocations are fellowships. So there's like a ton of Rotary fellowships around the world, and they have all kinds of different interests. So you can join a Rotary fellowship, and these are some of them. So when I went to the International Assembly in Melbourne, a lot of these people were there, and it was really cool to talk to the Rotary Surf Fellowship and what they do, and the Golf Fellowship, where they go and they get people together and they go golfing and they do things. And this is just another way for Rotarians to network with other Rotarians by, participating in things that they like to do. Now, imagine setting up a Rotary fellowship for pickleball in your community, setting up a Rotary pickleball club or something like that. One of the things that we've been really talking about in Rotary is, our membership is going down in North America, and we need to be more adaptive and flexible with our clubs. And some of the things that we've talked about is setting up satellite clubs. So you could set up a Rotary satellite pickleball club that's adjacent to your club. They'll pay the dues, they don't have to pay the lunch and stuff, and they'll come and do service projects or whatever, but they're also, enjoying pickleball, and other members can do that too. So it's just a more flexible, easy way to get people to join Rotary. So we have the Rotary fellowships. And then we have the action groups, called RAGs, and they're international groups, and they have different programs in different areas. So, some of the action groups that we're part of the Rotary Action Group for Peace in our district. But if you look there and you see all the different ways that you can get involved, so you can be a member of, your club, but you can also be a part of the Rotary Action Group and finding your passion within one of these groups to help people throughout the world. So that's available to you. And then there's also a newsletter that you can sign up for in regards to vocations throughout Rotary International. So you can sign up for these newsletters. And then there's an introduction to vocational service, and I've downloaded a copy, so I'll be putting it I'll put it in the chat while we're here, but I'll also put it into the box folder when we have that all set up for everyone's participation here. So our club in Cambria, so they have a thing where they have a meeting where they thank all the teachers and the staff in their community. So they bring them to their club and they recognize them for the great service that they're doing. They have a chamber mixer at a tap room to invite people to come that are Rotarians and non-Rotarians. So that's participating with the Chamber of Commerce. And that's also involving a local business in the community. So we're bringing people to a tap room, we're promoting Rotary, and we're also promoting the Chamber of Commerce. So it's a win-win all the way around. And then they also have scholarships that they give out to the students in their areas. So this is all part of vocations. And then I'm going to reach out to Joe from the Westlake Sunrise Club. If you can go over what your shop talk guide is.
Sure, Mike. Well, when I first started, this is my fourth year as chairing vocational service. So my first year was like I was clueless, and it took a while to really get some direction. But one of the things that we wanted to do was revitalize our shop talks. What we call shop talks. Some other people call them craft talks. And what I found when I was asking people to do a shop talk is that they said, "Well, what do you want me to talk about?" So I, with talking with my committee, we put together this guide, very simple. We can send it out, and I make it clear to people that it's their 5 minutes. So it's, we're not going to tell them what to talk about, but it's their choice. They get 5 minutes with the club. But what we also have started to do is to invite every new member to do a shop talk, so that and it's actually part of the steps from red to gold badge, so that they get a chance to introduce themselves to the club. And it doesn't matter whether they're retired or they're working. As you can see, there's you can talk about what you're passionate about, what you want to do in your your afterlife after being retiring. What grabs you? What are your strengths? Uh, what kind of problems do they like to solve? All of those kinds of things. And whatever people have talked about their where their family came from, all the way from that to how they got into the business that they're in. So and then we also invite members who have long-time members. There are a lot of new members that have no idea, no clue to what a longer-term member does, how they got into Rotary, why they're still there, that kind of thing. So it's also useful to use in reintroducing people to the club. And that's pretty much it, unless somebody has a question about the shop talk.
And then they also have something that's unique. So can you go over the vocational member directory there?
Yeah, it's a uh, I got the idea from the the district awards criteria, and one of the criteria uh, for vocational service was to produce a list of members and what they do, what their their businesses, that kind of thing. Well, what we decided to do was we were creating a new online, a new website, and we decided, well, let's create a vocational member directory that also focused on interests, so that uh, we could, you know, several different. There's the purpose. One, it's what we talked about a little bit before. It's like sort of informally supporting networking. The Rotary first got started, these four guys wanted to help each other build their businesses, right? So what I do find interesting about that is that there are some clubs who feel like it's a dirty word to that you want to grow your business, and that maybe you might ask somebody if they want to, if you can talk with them about your business. So this 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 directory allows you to put in whatever you want. You can be retired, and you can still express what your interests are. So if you click on view profile, then you're able to get into, you know uh, what their profession is, but then also what are their interests. So like you mentioned, pickleball, Mike. There's a longtime member, Terry Morler in our club. I had no idea she played pickleball and liked to do that. Now I go in to her listing and see she likes to play pickleball. Uh, if I'm interested in that, or maybe I want to get into it, but don't know how, now I know I can call Terry and set up a time for us to play pickleball, or to learn more about it from her. So it's promoting that uh, engagement within our own club, but also uh, it can help with supporting uh, um, growth by showing potential members who come to our website who we are. They can
Mhm.
scroll through under select categories. You can see what kind of professions that we have within the club, and they can see who does that. So maybe, like you said, well, you know, in our club we don't say you can only have one lawyer, or you can only have one printer. That's ridiculous. But you can see who's in there uh, for our local community. If people want to see what kind of, maybe they are looking for a lawyer, they can go into this directory and see what kind of lawyers we have within our club. So like we have one that's focused on environmental law. We have other lawyers. We had one who was focused on the uh, flying, airplanes and all of that stuff. So uh, it's just a great all around opportunity to share who we are, and to facilitate the interaction and then relationship building within the club and with others outside in the community.
No, that's great. And I mean, they can also look at this too, Joe, and say, hey, they don't have a CPA in this club. And maybe, this might be a good fit for me to reach out to
Yeah,
the
sure.
50 so on members in this club, and network that way too. So,
Right, right. I agree with you. Like, for example, we had somebody who was a relatively new travel agent. and we didn't have anybody who was a travel agent, and they joined, and it wasn't as like, oh, okay, everybody, come do business with me. It's not the thing. When you're in Rotary, that's the opportunity to build relationships.
Yep.
And who do you do business with? You do business with people you trust. And so that's, for me, is the value, one of the values of Rotary, as we engage with each other. And do you follow through on your commitments? Can I trust what you say you're going to do? Do you do it?
Sure.
That kind of thing. Well, if you can do it within the club, then you're probably going to be doing that in your business.
Great. Well, thank you, Joe, for that
Yeah.
insight there. And then, like Bakersfield North, they sponsor the Youth of the Year award for the Boys and Girls Club. So this is an act of vocations too, where they're sponsoring, and they're working with the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club promotes this, and they showcase what the Rotary of Bakersfield North is doing. So it's working together on these particular projects to enhance our community vocation wise. And then, here's some branding things. So, some of the areas they use this Rotary Means Business Fellowship. So they'll have these meetings and they'll have these get-togethers in their particular districts. Again, like we were talking about, getting together, talking about business, but also talking about how Rotary can, strengthen your relationship, in the community, more networking and stuff. So, and then I like this picture that's up in the upper right-hand corner where they're out supporting their different nonprofits and schools and such. So that's another way, that's marketing and vocations there. And then here's another Rotary Means Business, the art of networking with impact. So again, in your community, sort of like what Cambria did, you find a place for people to come and grab a beer or grab some food, get together, be able to talk with each other, and then interact with what they're doing and seeing if they can build relationships that way. Here's another Rotary Means Business. And then again, I'll put this in the box, but there's some more resources. There's a showcase. You can look for different Rotary ideas, and these are all links. When you click to them, it'll take you to the RI site. And then, so we are actually looking for a district vocational chair. So if you know anybody that has passion for this, I've been really taking my time and finding my chairs, because it seems like sometimes we put people into chairs that they don't really know too much about it, or they just don't have a passion for it. And I'd rather not have somebody than have somebody. We're also looking at doing things differently. So instead of meeting every month and having 2 or 3 or 4 people show up, we're going to do some videos, and then try to meet every quarter, but send videos to clubs, in regards to vocations. Here, this is what this club's doing. This is what this club's doing. So getting the information out that way. So you don't have to, oh, it's always on Thursday and my kids got soccer that day and I can't, meet the meetings. Here's some information for you to take in at your own during your own time to understand more about vocations. And then don't worry about that one. That's end. And then I think the district actually has a page, what like the Westlake Sunrise Club does, for vocations and people to, use, your businesses and stuff, but it's just not being used. So I'm looking at revamping that for the district. So people, if they're say they're in a, say they're in San Luis Obispo and they want to find a restaurant to eat at or something, you click on the site, you find the restaurant in the area and they're Rotary owned, and maybe you go visit them, depending on what type of food or whatever you want there. So that's basically it in regards to vocations for me. And we do have a couple minutes if you guys want to discuss anything that's happening in your clubs, anything, good, or hey, we need some help with that. So the floor is open.
Mike, could I just say a little bit
Sure.
about one of the things that can happen is that some of the things that are in vocational service traditionally have been done by another committee. So for example, youth service, and maybe they promote a four-way test, for example.
Right.
Uh, that's really an opportunity to partner, so that uh, vocational service partnering with youth services to work with the youth. And
Mm-hmm.
and actually, in terms of the awards criteria, you can claim points for both youth service and vocational service when those activities are part of both avenues of service.
Yeah,
Uh,
and some
so
clubs are just too small to have a
yeah,
vocational chair. So, and they might be too small to have a youth chair. So combining those, and
that also makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, killing the two birds with one stone theory would probably work out for the smaller clubs. And with the larger clubs, again, hey, we're thinking about doing this project that involves youth. Hey, youth, let's get together and work on this. So we have more bodies involved, and again, making the task easier.
Yeah. For example, one of the things that you can earn an awards criteria point for is doing a presentation to high school youth on integrity.
Hmm.
Well, we have a guy on vocational service who's very interested in that. He worked with the chair of youth service to get scheduled with our with the Interact Club that we that we sponsor, so that he has had that opportunity to get in front of the youth and talk with them about that and give them really some great understanding of how do you apply the principles that are in the four-way test,
Right.
and how does that show up, and getting them to talk about it. But that might not have happened if if we weren't taking the advantage of uh, and partnering with youth service.
Hmm.
And so that's
And
what I just encourage you to think about.
and you guys could, discuss this if you guys have club service meetings, what we're doing, and then you hear what the other chairs are doing, and then trying to work together on that. Any other thoughts or comments? Well, just let's go around the room real quick. So Jocelyn, what is your club doing in regards to the vocations?
And there we go, unmuted. Not very much. And I'm actually sitting here with, let's see if we can get him in his picture, with our vocational chair.
Okay,
Um, so we can learn a little bit more about what we need to do.
right.
We're a really small club, 14 members.
Yeah.
But so we're learning is what we're
And
doing.
one of the things about vocations, it does help recruit. It does help bring new people into your club. So if you're, again, we talked about this, if you're partnering with other clubs in the area, maybe you just have service night where you bring in Kiwanis and Rotary and Lions or whatever, and you bring all those clubs together, let everyone talk about their different clubs and how, because some, like the Elks, I believe they just work with youth, I believe. I'm not too sure. But whatever their focus is, some people might be, okay, well, the Elks does this. Rotary, they do everything. So maybe that's a better fit for me, or whatever it is. So really getting involved with other partners too.
I even like the idea of giving a speech to the Interact Club. The Paso Robles noontime Rotary really deals with our only high school in town, and they manage all of the Interact. And that would be a way for our club to interact with the Interact and the Noon Club. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Interact clubs are great, and that's something that you can do for vocations too. Is so in our group 4, we have a Interact picnic every year, and I'm really trying to hype this up for my AGs for next year. Is to have an Interact picnic for your group, all the high schools in your group that have Interact clubs, getting them all together, feeding them some pizza, some sodas, whatever. And then I don't know if you guys know about the Yes program that we have in some areas. We have it in Bakersfield. We have it in, I'm going to CME's next weekend. We have one in Oxnard. So think of Yes as a mini RILA, but we could take aspects of the Yes and incorporate that into a Interact picnic where we can have them do a team building exercise or some other exercises that they do with in the Yes program. But we also invite speakers, younger speakers who have more of a connection with the high school students. But we invite speakers to come out to talk to the high schoolers. Here, this is the path I took. I went, from high school, I went to college and I did this. And then when I graduated from college, I did this. So it gives, the high school students a little bit more of a road. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Or, hey, you're a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. What else did you do? And bringing some connection and some value for the kids that want to go to the Interact picnic. So that's one thing I would do, and that's vocations. That's hey kids, these are the jobs that these people have, and this is the path that these people took, and giving them that sort of information. So I'm really trying to get all the groups in our area for 25, 26 to have some sort of Interact picnic or Interact gathering, just so kids could see like-minded kids.
I like that.
How about you, Larry? Anything special in your area regarding vocations? Are you still there, Larry?
All right. Welcome, everybody. So one thing, Mike, is I was vocational chair during Savi's year. And I had sent emails out to all the vocational chairs throughout the district. And what I wanted to accomplish is something like a job posting board. For instance, somebody out of the Bakersfield Club looking for a specific job. And we have, let's say, Tim Gray in our club always looking for employees for his space company. And maybe they're willing to relocate. And so I sent out these emails and I got a response from a Rotaract club. And it was a roommate of one of the Rotaracts that had graduated out of San Diego University with a marketing degree. And I had reached out to somebody that I had dealt with in marketing, and they said initially they weren't looking, but send me the resume, and I sent the resume, and still as of today, she's now director of marketing for this company.
Wow, that's cool.
It's kind of cool that if we can somehow through the district level reach out to all the clubs and see with what we within our clubs are looking for employees wise, and some of the other clubs may be able to help us look for those employees and back. You know, I've hired several Rotarians kids within my company.
Right.
Um, and usually when they're referred, they're hired. So it is a good referral. We're working on, we do have a YES program coming up next week.
Yep.
Really looking forward to that. And we're working on a new expo. It's a kind of like a crafts type expo where we're going to have all vocational lines come in, police, fire, masonry, so electricians, and it's going to be a hands-on experience for the kids. So it's not just them talking. Our goal is that they will have hands-on. The masonry will have a wall. They could build a wall at the expo, and the employers can see who these kids are, and even adults that are looking for positions, and hopefully take some in as interns. And there could be the possibility of scholarships. Let's say Milgard may find a couple individuals that they're willing to put through school to come and work for their company. So we're on the planning stages. We've met several times, and any other club in the district that's interested could definitely join in and, you know, hear how we're planning this and create it within their community too.
And, just thinking off the top of my head real quick, Larry, is, if in the district we had part of vocations, a job posting site for people looking for positions, and we can even affiliate ourselves with a, like Express Employment, one of these people that do it for a living. Hey guys,
Yes.
we're gonna put this up here on our site. You do something for the district, but we're gonna, you could put postings here, or we can, have members there. Hey, I'm looking for this. Trying to create something that way. So that's a very interesting thought. I'll definitely reach out to the people I know for that. So thank you for that.
Well, fantastic. And thank you for what you're doing. And I look forward to your year as our governor.
Thank you. LaShonda, hello. So
Hello.
LaShonda, hello. What's happening in your club regarding vocations?
Not too much. I give out officer of the year, um, teacher of the year. Our PE actually at our last board meeting, he brought up that in his year he wants to do what the chamber does, like citizen of the year type gala.
Right.
So I plan on working with him on that. And then my daughter is the youth chair, the interact chair. So I think about working with her, but I don't like teenagers very much. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and attend a interact meeting and see where we can go from there to work together to do some of the things that you guys mentioned today. I'm taking notes actively.
Right.
But I
Well,
did want it if Larry could send me the information or put it in the chat about the YES event coming up.
Yeah, because we were trying to get a yes up in Santa Maria, and that's not going to happen. So what we're trying to do is promote the yes in different communities and such. So
So the one next weekend is in Ventura, you said?
yeah, so it's in Simi. It's in
Oh,
Simi
see me.
Valley.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll look into sending you the flyer, because they put the flyer on social media. So if you
Oh,
scroll
okay.
see
Yeah.
me yes, then you should be able to find it.
Okay. I'll look that up. And
And
maybe
I know
my
we have
daughter
to
and I
bug,
can come out to that or something.
yeah, definitely. Just let them know. And I know we need to bug out, but Douglas, you got anything to say?
No, similarly, my club doesn't really have a culture of doing a whole lot of vocational service. I think it's our weakest avenue of service. That's why I joined. But what I realized after this conversation today is that things that we classify in other youth services, for example, scholarships, those sorts of things, we often also do offsites and go visit workplaces. Those are vocational services that we're doing them. We're just classifying them under a different chair. So I think when I go back to my president-elect, I'm going to talk to them about how maybe we can reallocate some of that stuff to the vocational chair so we can get some stronger stuff going on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys spending some time with me on vocations. Hopefully this helped out a little bit. Please reach out to me with any suggestions and such. And again, thank you for spending time with us on this Saturday. And again, these are tools for you all to use. And hopefully we all apply some of this in our clubs and help them grow stronger. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mike.
Take care.
Thank you.